Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Gameday. Presented by DNR House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Hello everyone, I'm your Vegas Nation host Cassie Soto here at Raiders headquarters in Henderson, Nevada, as the team prepares for their Thursday night football matchup versus the Los Angeles Rams, a matchup that has gotten a little more interesting in recent days. So let's go ahead and get to this one, starting with our opening drive, brought to you by Capriotti's. Make your game day extraordinary with Capriotti's. Order now. I'm joined now by Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignor. Vinny, some Thursday night action coming up for the Raiders and the Rams. And what do you know, Los Angeles decided to spice things up a bit with the news that the team has claimed quarterback Baker Mayfield. And of course, the internet is asking right away, what are the chances that Baker Mayfield could take the field on Thursday, if any at all, Vinny?
Well, if you're the Rams, you have nothing to lose. You're 3-9, so why not? And a little bit of a full circle moment here. You know, when Baker was still at Oklahoma, he shared a Southwest flight with Sean McVay, the Rams head coach. And I remember Sean McVay told me that he saved a seat right next to him on the Southwest Airlines flight for Baker to sit next to when he came down the aisle. Baker, sit right here. The reason Sean McVay wanted to talk to him was he was in love with Lincoln Riley's offense over at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley was obviously the coach there, and he picked his brain for the entire flight about Lincoln Riley's offense. So it comes full circle. Baker and Sean McVay are now reunited, and why not? If you're going to pick them up on waivers, you're down 2 quarterbacks anyway. You're 3-9. You've got nothing to lose. Why not get Baker Mayfield out there? And I'm sure the audience would love that.
Yeah, you say why not. Of course, you've mentioned the 3-9 record, a 6-game losing streak now. But how much of a wrench does this now throw into the Raiders' plans, right? They found out this news on Tuesday. The game, of course, is on Thursday. How quickly do they have to prepare for the possibility, even just the possibility, Vinny, of seeing Baker Mayfield?
Exactly, and you don't even know who the quarterback's going to be regardless. Remember, Matthew Stafford is hurt. That's why we're even talking about this. And then the backup, John Wolford, got hurt on Sunday. So the Raiders are kind of like clueless right now on who it might be. They were thinking it might be their third-string quarterback. Now it might be Baker Mayfield, who's completely different than any of the quarterbacks that are on the roster. So head-spinning time for the Raiders right now. It's a really important game for the Raiders, obviously, and they need to get a handle on that situation. I'm not sure they're going to be able to, because I don't think the Rams are going to give any kind of a indication of who that quarterback's going to be on Thursday.
Yeah, and as far as the Raiders are concerned and their injury report, their injury outlook, if fans remember, this was the date everybody had circled that someone named Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow could return. But in speaking with Josh McDaniels and hearing from him, he kind of said he doesn't really want to rush that process. Do you agree there, Vinny, that maybe it's too short of a week? We know that during the Sunday and that Thursday game that they didn't really do full practices. So is it important to not rush those 2 players back?
Yeah, you know, they're not going to have a practice. They're not going to practice at all this week. It's all walkthroughs and meetings. And so it's kind of unfair to Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow just to throw them into the fray without having any practices. I think it's been 65 days or something along those lines. So that's a little bit too much. But if there's an emergency situation, if somebody were to get hurt, whatever the case might be, you might have to have your hand forced a little bit. But I think the Raiders are hoping that doesn't happen, that they can win this game against a very beatable Rams team and then come back 12 days later after a little bit of a break, bring those 2 guys back for the New England Patriots here at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, and again, Vinny, we don't know what's going on exactly with the Rams, right? But as far as the Raiders go, what is their mentality? What is the game plan? How do they just stay level-headed, focus on themselves on this one to maybe get a 4th win in a row here for the Raiders?
Yeah, and they need it, absolutely. I think at this point, Thursday night games are all about execution. You don't have a whole lot of time to put in a major game plan. So you do what you do and do it really well and do it really efficiently. And with the Rams that are so banged up, you're not going to see Aaron Donald out there. Obviously, Cooper Kupp's on the injured reserve list. They don't have Matthew Stafford or their backup quarterback potentially. So it's really about what the Raiders are going to do more than the Rams. And if they can just take care of business, play their game, and do it at an efficient level, they should win this game.
Flip the Field, brought to you by South Point Sportsbook. Download the app at southpointsports.com. It's Heidi Fang here with Ed Graney, and we're going to take a look at the opponent in this matchup for Week 14. First of all, Ed, we got to start with the wide receivers. How important is it that they step up?
Yeah, Heidi, well, the problem is they have wide receivers hurt everywhere, as you said. You know, Lance McCutcheon is questionable, so is Ben Charnack. There is Van Jefferson, but we know Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson are both on IR. And now you have these guys catching passes from the likes of Josh Wolford or Bryce Perkins, maybe even Baker Mayfield on Thursday night. What a mess that would be in terms of him trying to come in and make plays after just getting picked up on waivers. So they have a real problem with their wide receivers and the health of all of them right now. And I think that's got to play into the Raiders. The Raiders have to do a good job of really putting pressure on these guys to make plays and to get open. But at the back end of the Raiders really need another good week. If you can get pressure up front, the back end needs to do a good job because these receivers are hurt right now, and it's not a good situation for the Rams on the outside.
On the defensive side of the ball, Bobby Wagner has been outstanding for this team. Jalen Ramsey is there as well, but they are without Aaron Donald. What do you expect this defense to look like against the Raiders?
Yeah, Bobby Wagner is a guy who's been playing really well for them. They have others. I mean, I think, interior guys like Bobby Brown, Greg Gaines, Jonah Williams, Marquise Copeland, people like that, they played well last week. Mike Hecht is starting to make his name as an edge rusher. Interesting enough, Jalen Ramsey on the outside has given up touchdown receptions in each of the last 2 weeks, so they've got to be better on the outside. I think Josh Jacobs can have his way here a little with some of the injuries up front with the Rams. If they can spy Bobby Wagner and know where he is at all times, I think the Raiders can make a real inroads here on the running game with Josh Jacobs and continue his great season, because I don't know if the Rams can hold up stoutly against that offensive line. Once again, though, I thought the Raiders' offensive line was the best they were all season last week against the Chargers. If they can do the same thing against this kind of depleted Rams team, I think it'd be a nice day for Josh Jacobs.
4 players are out for the Raiders, including 3 players on defense. With your injury report, I'm Adam Hill. The list is led by cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. He has a knee injury. He's been out of practice all week. He'll be unable to play on the short week against the Rams. That's a big blow for the secondary. In the linebacking core, Jayon Brown will be missing with a hand injury. He's also been unable to practice this week. And up front, Andrew Billings, he's got a fibula injury. He's carted off the field a couple weeks ago, has not been able to return. So each level of the defense missing one key component for this week. On the offensive side, Jesper Horsted still in concussion protocol. He will also miss the game. But good news in the backfield, Josh Jacobs, he's got a questionable tag. That hasn't mattered the last 2 weeks. He's been questionable each of those weeks, and he's been able to play through those injuries and play very, very well. Back-to-back FedEx Ground Player of the Week for Josh Jacobs, despite that calf injury. He's also got a quad injury that he's dealing with, but he is most likely good to go despite the questionable tag. The only other player with an injury designation, Tyler Hall, the cornerback, popped up with a back injury Sunday morning. He missed the game, but he has been able to return to practice on a limited capacity this week for 2 practice sessions. He's questionable as well. We'll see if he's able to make it back, especially with Rock Ya-Sin out. A big boost for the secondary if he's able to go. That's all the players with injury designations for the Raiders. On the other side of the Rams, pretty much everybody's out. If you're making money for the Rams, you're not playing many, many millions of dollars in salary out for this game, including Aaron Donald. He will not play with the ankle injury. There was some hope that he'd return, but he will not. The rest of the list is very, very long, and just know Aaron Donald, a big loss for the Rams.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
With Capriotti's, game day is always extraordinary. Fuel your passion with our award-winning cheesesteaks, in-house oven-roasted turkey, and classic subs. Or create a fan frenzy with our catering trays that are perfect for any crew. At Capriotti's, we deliver extraordinary to you.
Listen to the Vegas Nation podcast 3 times a week, featuring Vinny Bonsignor and Sam Gordon to kick off the week with First and 10. In the middle of the week, catch Heidi Fang's takeaways, and rounding out the week on Fridays is Ed Graney and Adam Hill with Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Subscribe to the podcast and check them out as well on VegasNation.com and the Vegas Nation app, all powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
With this week's Look at the Lions, I'm sports betting columnist David Shane. The Raiders have won 3 straight to keep their playoff hopes alive, and bettors appear to be backing the silver and black against the struggling Rams on Thursday Night Football. After opening as 5-point favorites, the Raiders are now 6-point favorites in most sports books. Boyd Gaming has the Raiders as 6.5-point chalk. The total is 44.5, in almost every sports book, while William Hill has the over-under set at 44. The Rams have lost 6 consecutive games straight up, and their uncertainty at the quarterback position is at least one reason for bettors to like the Raiders. John Wolford, who started for Los Angeles last week, was listed as questionable on Wednesday. Baker Mayfield signed with the Rams this week, but coach Sean McVay isn't sure whether he'll be up to speed on the playbook. If Mayfield does start, that could impact the line as it gets closer to kickoff. And if you're looking to bet the game, here are some trends worth noting. The Raiders are 3-0 straight up and against the spread in their past 3 games. They also won and covered their past 2 road games after starting out 0-5 away from home. The Rams are 2-3-1 against the spread during this 6-game losing streak. And one more for you. Los Angeles is 2-6 against the spread over their last 8 games at SoFi Stadium.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Vegas Nation Game Day. We hope you enjoyed this Raiders preview of their Thursday night matchup versus the Los Angeles Rams. Primetime kickoff is set for 5:15 p.m. For our entire Vegas Nation crew, I'm Cassie Soto. We'll see you soon.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Game Day. Presented by DNR House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.